We have Rohan Gupta, director at Nuvama Institutional, who understands the space very well. Well, there was a time when Rohan used to come very often on the channel, but just like the sector fell off the charts for institutional investors, Rohan also started coming very less actually. He's back today. Rohan, are you getting queries from your institutional clients on is the time right to get back into some of these large chemical names, particularly the ones which have high margin and more complex chemistry portfolio? Because the sense we are getting is that now some companies are talking to us that in next 2 to 3 quarters things may start improving. In fact, in some products the dumping is also already reduced.
Afternoon, thanks for having me on your channel. Maybe after a very long time, but I have not disappeared. It's only that when the sector or stocks are not in favor, then definitely even the news channels also want to focus on sectors which are doing well. That is always the market. So I well appreciate that. Well, so chemicals definitely, yes, have been slightly underperforming. When we have seen a mid cap and small cap rallying in last 1 year, this sector has not participated because in last 2 to 3 years, the sector has done very well, but in last 1 year have not been so good for the sector. There was a growth moderation which was happening. Also, we had seen some of the issues emerging in the global markets like de-inventorization happening, where many of the global agrochemical companies started destocking. We had issues emerging from China, where they have put prices under pressure globally, and also many of the domestic chemical players have seen their margins under pressure in last 4 to 5 quarters. So I think that the sector has bottomed out in terms of earnings bottoming last quarter, I mean Q3. And when we see that most of the companies are talking about and giving the commentary, we are expecting that Q4 onward, there will be gradual recovery. Some of the companies have already started witnessing recovery from Q3. Many of them, I think, that will post the recovery and Q on Q growth from Q4. So the sector earnings have bottomed out, that is for sure. Unless we see that the global market and maybe US and Europe go in a deeper recession, which can impact the chemical industry's consumption. We are not expecting that kind of scenario. We are still seeing that the growth opportunity for Indian chemical industry is very bright. Domestic demand, and even in a global scenario, China plus one, Europe facing its own energy crisis, and Europe plus one, all these are the growth opportunities for Indian chemical manufacturer. So yes, we are positive on the overall sectoral growth, and specialty chemical sector, in my view, is likely to do well over next 1 year.
Okay, for example, I'll give you a specific example. Gujarat Fluoro, in its last interaction with us, said that Q4, Q1 onwards, the likelihood of margins coming back, actually that troughing out of margins will happen. 2 quarters back, Aarti also said the same. So where are your top bets lying right now? If I were to take, say, complex pharma, performance chemicals kind of names from your overall list.
So yes, we are very bullish on some of the pockets like emerging sectors like EV batteries, for solar batteries, chemicals. These are the companies, in my view, are likely to perform very well going forward, because we are seeing the emerging growth in these sectors. Gujarat Fluoro, Jubilant Ingrevia, Aarti Industries, that's some of the names which we are seeing are going to see a growth and continuous recovery from here on. Gujarat Fluoro is also proposing a huge investment over next 2 years to 4 years in battery chemical space. Similarly, Aarti Industries is one of our top bet. The reason being, the company has been continuously investing in capex. Even in a lean time, when in last 4 to 5 quarters, industry was showing some weakness, the company continued with its capex. So Aarti has been is likely to be beneficiary of the large capex which they have already put, and we are seeing that the increasing traction in the consumable industries, in the polymers and all, in some of the industries which they cater to, autos, aerospace, they have already started showing the sign of recovery. Agrochemical, I mean, mainly companies focusing on agrochemicals, they may still see some kind of 1 or 2 quarter weakness because global agrochemical destocking is still continuing. So agrochemical focused companies may see a recovery after maybe 1 or 2 quarter. But yes, apart from that, most of the chemical companies like Aarti, Jubilant, Gujarat Fluoro, these are the names we are seeing the recovery is already in place. And since they are sitting with a huge capex, I think that the operating leverage is likely to play out in FY25 and FY26. That's where we see a sharper earnings growth for these companies.
On that note, Rohan, we let you go. Thanks so much for making time and speaking with us. So